Barbie is out this week and I cannot wait to finally watch it. I grew up playing Barbies with my sister. It was always a big part of our childhood, and I even tried to wear pink today, but I don't own many pink summer outfits. For some reason I have more pink outfits for winter, which doesn't even make sense, but whatever. What I'm aspiring to do here might be a bit confusing, but I'm hopefully gonna explain it. Okay, so I don't think I've been introducing myself properly. My name is Mariana. You can call me Mari if it's easier, and I like to read a lot. And I also played a lot with Barbies when I was younger. Unfortunately, I don't remember where exactly, but I saw somewhere that Greta Gerwig, the director of Barbie, wanted to show or wanted to give us something where Barbie, a woman, was the main character or the main protagonist, while Ken, a male, was just an accessory to her. And I just thought that this concept was amazing because you grow up in a society where man is always privileged, but keeping that in mind and keeping in mind that I read mainly fiction and especially literary and general fiction, I have some recommendations on that genre, and most of these are regarding female and the female experience in a world dominated man. Quick disclaimer before we start: I haven't actually watched the Barbie movie, it's not out as of the day I'm recording this, and I haven't read any of the books that I'm about to recommend to you. However, they are really high on my TBR list and I cannot wait to read them. Some of these choices may not make sense to you, but they make sense in my mind, and I'm gonna try to explain why I've chose them. Okay, so starting up, I chose Aesthetica by Ali Rowbottom. This is about a woman who at 19 was an Instagram celebrity, and as such she became involved in the plastic world. She did a lot of plastical surgeries, and right now she's 35 and she doesn't recognize herself. She's about to go under this procedure called Aesthetica, which is going to revert every plastical surgery she has ever had in her life, in hopes to find her true self again, or her whole self. Obviously I chose this because for years Barbie was sold as this one perfect blonde thin doll that everyone wanted to be, that just gave out unrealistic beauty standards. And luckily on the days of today we are starting to see a little bit more diversity on the Barbies. Then the next one I chose is The New Me by Hailey Butler. I'm still trying to make the dreams possible, still might finish my cleaning project, still might sign up for that yoga class, still might. I step in the shower and I almost faint. An image of taking the day by the throat and bashing its head against the wall floating in my mind. I chose this one because it's about a woman who's trying to be perfect but she cannot keep up with it, and she feels like her life is stuck in repetitive mode. She wakes up, she goes to work, she comes home to an empty flat, and then she goes to sleep and repeats everything all over again. Barbies were real, like in Toy Story. This is what their lives would be. You would play with them, they would go to work, they would come back home, they would be with their cans and other Barbies, and then they would go to sleep in your room storage. And everything changes for our book character Millie when she gets an offer for a full-time job. I might be mistaken because I haven't watched the movie, I just saw some comments on it. I think that's what happens in Barbie. She's living on repetitive mode in Barbie Land, but then something happens that makes her snap out of it, or she has the chance to leave. I don't know, it might be some Matrix weird stuff going on there, I have no idea. Okay, so the next one, I have to confess, I chose this one because the cover really reminds me of a Barbie doll house, and that's Terrace Story by Hilary Leicher. The cover is the dollhouse I've never had. But this one follows a couple living with their young daughter in a cramped apartment, and one day out of the blue they seem to have gained a terrace in their tiny apartment. So the way this works, I think, is that one day they open their closet door and for some reason they have a really pretty terrace through the closet door, which kind of sounds a bit like Narnia. But for some reason this terrace only appears when their friend Stephanie visits. However, there's a twist. This added space to their apartment comes at a cost that will end up changing their lives. You know, I guess you can say that just like when you're playing with Barbies, you can add and make up divisions of their own houses that don't necessarily make sense. The next one is the only one that's not female-centered, and it's We Are the Hands by Sean David Hutchinson. I know this was very popular a couple of years ago, and I've been meaning to read this. Basically, this follows Henry, I think it's Henry, Yeah, so this follows Henry, who's been being abducted by aliens for a few years now, until the aliens give him an ultimatum. He has 140 days to choose to save humanity, and in order to save humanity, he only needs to do this one thing, that's to push a big red button. The catch is that he's not sure if he wants to save humanity or not. Nothing to do with Barbies, I know, but hear me out. If we see this from a more abstract point, we are the aliens. When you were a kid and you were playing with Barbies, you were their god, you were their aliens. And if you were real, you had the power to shut them off. And furthermore, if Barbies were real, don't you think that we would try to end up their world? Okay, so we are going back to the female-centered novels. This one is Waiting for Ted by Marieke Big, and I've been wanting to read this for a really long time because the cover looks amazing. This one follows Rosie and Ted's relationship, and Rosie comes from a wealthy upper-class background, and she has certain expectations to what her and Ted's marriage is gonna look like. She wants to be the perfect wife for her hardworking husband, meaning that she wants to clean and cook for him. However, it has a twist. She's also an Instagrammer, and she wants to be popular and good at it. The dynamic changes when she starts requesting for more. She wants more money in order to keep up with her Instagram content. And this is called Waiting for Ted because the story is told over one evening while she waits Ted to arrive home. And I'm expecting this to talk about themes such as materialism, consumerism, gender, roles, identity, happiness, the pursuit of perfection, and relationships, and how they've evolved from this stereotype of woman that stays home, cooks, and is not given any financial freedom. Then we have Blue Tickets by Sophie McIntosh. I've recently finished Cursed Bread by the author and I loved it. I've been looking to try out some of her other stuff. In a world where women can't have it all, don't underestimate the relief of a decision being taken away from you. Kala knows how the lottery works. Everyone does. On the day of your first bleed, you report to the station to learn what kind of human you will be. A white ticket grants you a marriage and children. A blue ticket grants you a career and freedom. You are relieved of the terrible burden of choice. And once you've taken your ticket, there is no going back. But what if the life you're given is the wrong one? When Kala, a blue ticket woman, begins to question her fate, she must go on the run. Their survival will depend on the very qualities the lottery has taught her to question in herself. This one just sounds so good. I think that this one is gonna be a banger to talk about equality and choices and the freedom of our choices, and as a Barbie you don't get to do it, and I'm trying to make it all Barbie centered. I'm forcing all of these reads on Barbie, but this is all just an excuse for me to read them. Reach the end. I know this might be a little bit far-fetched, but I do think that they talk about important topics and I really cannot wait to read them all. Let me know if you have read any of these or if you have any better Barbie suggestions that I should take a look at.